And we're back once again with another edition of Litter Media Live. For this Thursday, it is the 11th of January with Mike Smith. He is back in studio without a tooth.
With 1/4 less wisdom than I had before, and that wasn't much to speak of.
So how do you feel?
Good.
Because sitting with you, listening to you talk and everything today, you haven't been any different than you normally have.
Well, I don't have any galls in my mouth, which I did for the first whole day.
I was waiting for you to, come out with a Godfather type invitation.
Offer you can't refuse. Yeah.
So everything went well.
A little bit of swelling. I don't think the average person can tell, but I think it's down a little bit today, and feeling no pain.
That's good.
But not loopy. Yeah. That's your discretion if whether I am or not.
Some things you just can't change, but that was induced loopiness.
That's correct.
In that regard. But happy to have you back. Glad you're here. Aaron Glandon is off today, so I am pushing buttons for the first time in a long time. So if something goes wrong here, it's all on me. But in the same respect, it is I'm just out of practice. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But
actually, this was a golden opportunity of things. You could have blamed it all on Aaron, and he wouldn't have been here to even throw out any kind of rebuttal. Yeah,
that wouldn't have been nice. We wouldn't have been able to do that. Here's what we're looking at weather-wise.
Yeah, partly sunny today with a high 43. It'll be warmer but wetter tomorrow. Rain in the forecast throughout the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. 48 the high, and then things turn colder. That storm front that comes through will bring much cooler weekend temperatures with highs in the 30s, and then early next week they're talking about single-digit lows in the overnight and teens during the day, especially Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'm chilly already.
They were showing pictures and video on the news, the snowstorms in the Midwest, the rain that they've had down south and in the Northeast. I mean, it's just like you've got tornadoes in Florida. It's like whatever type other than volcanoes erupting in continental United States. I saw it yesterday. So.
I'm thinking back to the movie 2012.
Yeah.
And it had all of the end of the world happening right there in front of us. Was it John Cusack who was in that?
I think. And then was the other one with Quaid. What was that one? Day After Tomorrow or something, where it went
with
from
the big freeze and their whole
flooding to immediate. They had a term for it, not quick freeze, but something like that.
Flash freeze.
Yeah, flash freeze. Right.
I remember.
Sounds like some of Dairy Queen.
One particular scene in that movie, sitting in the movie theater watching it, and he was showing a map of the continental United States, and this line went through Chillicothe.
Yeah.
And then they would go back to it, and the line would be different, so they come back, and yet a third different. But the first thing that caught my eye was like, hey, it's going right through here.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting here in the movie theater.
Everybody's running out of the theater at that time. Yeah.
We were panicking. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at what's making news for you today. We'll share sports. We've got some big shakeups in the National Football League and the NCAA. That is coming your way. And look at this date in history, which I just realized I don't think I have the graphic put together for today. So we may have to just fly with it.
Okay.
And see what happens. All right, coming up, all that for you in just a matter of moments. But first, we want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. For nearly 5 decades, they have been taking care of the conditions in your home. They are your trusted comfort advisor. So if you want to take a look, see what kind of Bryant products they have and everything else, click on this ad on our website, littermedia.com, where you see Accurate Heating and Cooling. Click on that, and it'll take you right to their website, which is AccurateHVAC.com for Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Coming up, a look at news next.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
If you can't give true love to me, enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Take a look at our website, littermedia.com, for the latest on what's happening with news that we have to share with you. Of course, we're going to give you an update right now, but check our social media, Facebook page, our Litter Media Twitter, or Litter Media X, and YouTube as well. You can subscribe to that. It's absolutely free.
Yeah, yesterday you were visiting with Logan Elm Superintendent Tim Williams and elementary principal Joanna Strauser about Logan Elm's new campus.
You know, when you look at the change, you go from even 6 cafeterias down to 1. So what we can offer kids at lunch is even better. Last year, the only school that we had was Pickaway Elementary, where children were not outside some part of the day, and McDowell as well. So when you have modular classroom, kids are leaving their classrooms, going outside in the weather, and then going back into the building to do that. So being in one space, that's one of the first things I noticed. Okay, now we have air conditioning. The buildings are climate control. And even in the fall, I heard coaches say, and band directors, kids have more energy at the end of the day because now you're in a building that has air conditioning versus sitting around all day in a hot building and then have to come out and perform at practice. So even the little small things like that have been a great change for our students and our faculty.
We have high school kids that come over. So we have high school students that come read with the little ones in kindergarten. We have high school students who come over and help tutor. We have the football players welcoming the students in on every Friday during the fall. So just a lot of that we can do now where we couldn't before. And the kids love that. They love seeing the older kids on their side of the building, helping them learn.
Sure. Pretty excited about this building and to see how things are coming together for them.
Yeah, they have, I think Tim mentioned they have a new gymnasium, which they've been playing some of the varsity games in, but they will still use McDowell Gym on occasion.
Precisely.
Speaking of new school campuses, Bern Union over in Sugar Grove in Fairfield County just opened their new campus yesterday. They're calling it The Grove because it's in Sugar Grove. Superintendent John Parker will be joining us for the Fairfield County Special Edition next Wednesday to talk about their new campus as well. They're all excited about that. As you can see, that's a nice big pair of scissors they've got there. Be careful, those kids. Don't put your eyes out.
Yeah, they look like you're getting ready to run with them. That's a concern I have.
That is a no-no. Do not run with scissors in your hand. Chillicothe Kiwanis Club is looking for nominations for their 2024 Statehood Day Achievement Award. Each year, the Kiwanis recognizes an outstanding area resident that best represents the spirit of Ohio, and that's, of course, the name of the award. Citizen is someone who has advanced the ideals of the brotherhood of mankind, community service endeavors, love of family and youth, concern for the beauty of the region, and spiritual growth of the soul. Now, the deadline to submit nominations is February the 9th. Pickaway County students, it's poster contest time. It's open to students grades K through 12. All posters are due to the Pickaway Soil and Water Conservation District Office by 4:30 p.m. on Friday, March the 29th. And additional details are available at the Pickaway Soil and Water Conservation District website.
I'm just out seeing this. May the forest be with you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, trying to keep those forests growing. Ross County Christian Academy will have a preschool and kindergarten open house. That's slated for 6:30 p.m. on February 5th. The open house will be held at Brookside Church. Join Ohio University tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. for a virtual application day and let them assist you with their application to Ohio University. Now, this is focusing on OU Chillicothe, but this applies to the main campus as well as all branch campuses in the Ohio University system. You can sign up now at admissions.ohio.edu/register. Mark your calendars ahead for the 6th annual Tuborama on Hocking River, June 21st through 23rd. The event starts at 9 a.m. each day, and you can sign up through Adventure Pro Outdoor River Trips, which is located in Nelsonville.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It does, doesn't it? And a little more room to move around on that big inner tube instead.
I don't think I've ever been
kayak.
tubing before. I don't remember ever doing it.
Yeah. Have you ever ridden an inner tube down a snow bank or slope?
I don't think I've ever done that either.
I've seen it, but it not. We always had the runner sleds when I was a kid. I never got the inner tube thing came along later. I think my wife, when she was a kid, did that, but I wasn't in the picture at that time. The Chillicothe Ross Chamber of Commerce Chocolate Walk returns February the 10th, starting at 11 a.m. through 5 p.m. Contact the Chamber of Commerce for full details if you're not familiar with the Chocolate Walk. I think there's 15 different businesses that participate. When you go to each site, there's something different chocolatey that you can participate in. And I believe it's the annual meeting of the Ross Humane Society Board of Directors coming up.
Yes, Ross County Humane Society, they plan on doing some things in regards to recapping the highlights of the last year, an update on their capital campaign, and the new building project. So last time I talked with them, they were talking about at least getting the groundbreaking underway, but they were meeting with the architect on final plans at that time. So this would be neat to have an update on January 25th. That'll be the date for you from 5:30 till 7 p.m. And they host this over at Petland.
Good deal. There's
a nice big conference area, the Petland.
Yes.
You ever been inside there?
I have indeed.
And it's really neat to get in there and see. I mean, Ed Kunzelman and his team seem to do it right.
Yeah.
Every time they do something.
Met President Joe Watson for a little meeting in there one time. Joe was a former Dan and Mike radio listener of many, many, many years. So that's a look at topics and a lot to tell you about in sports all coming up.
Okay. Let's take a moment to tell you about our friends at Scioto Valley Dumpsters right now. Give them a call at 740-253-8389. And you'll be talking with Carl probably. He may pick the phone up and talk to you right there or leave a voicemail, whichever the case may be, because he might be busy directing traffic on all of these orange dumpsters going across the Scioto Valley. If you need a dumpster for something you're doing personally or if it's your business, they can take care of you. Different sizes and different lengths that you can have these in your location. So find out more by calling 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Time for sports, and we start with high school sports.
Yeah, high school basketball last night. Most of the games played last night were girls' games. FAC, Jackson, Hillsboro, Miami Trace were winners. Non-conference, White Oak over Huntington, Peebles, Williamsburg, Fisher Catholic. These gals are good this year. I don't know that they've lost yet. They're a Division IV school, but they beat D2 Columbus Hartley by 13. Sheridan, they are lights out again this year. Look out, Uniota. That might be a rematch in the district final. Noon Lex, a winner. One boys' game last night, Bern Union falling to Wellington. Also, the Litter Media game of the week on the radio this Friday takes us down to Pike County for a second week in a row, only this time the downtown gym in Waverly against South Webster.
And we'll get an opportunity to hear more about this game. We'll talk with Coach Kyle Bradley. Had a conversation with him yesterday. We'll hear what he had to say on the Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show coming up at noon today.
Yes, sir.
We'll also be announcing the Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual Insurance Player of the Week. And if you want to nominate a player, just go to our website, littermedia.com, click where it says Players of the Week, and you can make your nomination. And it doesn't have to be basketball. Amateur athletes, you got somebody to tell us about, let us know.
Yeah. Wrestling, swimming, they're in full swing this time of year as well. So jump in there with the swimming pool, with whatever amateur athlete you want.
And indoor track is going on, too.
That's correct. So, yeah, that is correct. Yesterday, the Ohio High School Athletic Association announced their first weekly RPI poll. This is what, at the end of the regular season, will determine the seeding for boys and girls basketball this year, not the coaches just voting on it. And
to kind of give you a look at it,
Yeah.
Here's what it looks like on the OHSAA website. And you decide what you want. You want whichever boys or girls basketball, and then you click on the division, and it will open up sections for you, and you can see all the districts that are lined up. And coming up on the show today, on our preview show, this is kind of like what we'll be taking a look at. And we're going to do a breakdown today of all the teams in the area from their respective divisions and their districts, and we'll share that with you on our preview show this afternoon, or, technically, yes, this afternoon. So you'll have an opportunity to see that in action, see who they are, but then you can go to the OHSAA website and find it on your own.
Yeah, so we'll save all the particulars on our local teams from the Southeast and Central District for the noon show coming up later today. Well, 7-time national champion football coach Nick Saban is saying goodbye. Nick is retiring. 6 of those titles were with the Crimson Tide in Alabama. One, of course, was a pole championship with LSU. But a former Cleveland Brown assistant under some other guy who's in the news today.
Bill Belichick, yeah.
Who was stepping away. I think they were having a press conference with the owner of the New England Patriots where they were announcing separation of ways. Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks, that was announced yesterday that they're parting ways. So some big shakeup in the world of football coaching.
Uniquely, though, they all have different reasons for why they're leaving, and they're all decent reasons.
Yeah, I the one quote I saw from Saban was he is totally, he didn't use the word disgusted, but he's not happy with the new transfer portal and the NIL thing. He said something's got to change, and he said, I'm just too old to to stick around with this. So.
Yeah, may as well go back to the pros.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so some big changes. Question is, who's going to get this gig?
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin, maybe?
That he came to mind.
Steve Sarkisian, who's at Texas. I don't know. Texas there's a lot of money to be made down there, so we'll just have to wait and see what's in the works. Urban. Well, Michigan State was rumored to be on that too.
Yeah, you never know.
I think Shelley put her foot down. The Buckeyes of Ohio State, they come out of the gates looking like gangbusters, but here in recent weeks, they've just had a hard time closing, and that was the case last night as they were outscored by Wisconsin 19-4 in the final 6 minutes of the game in a 71-60 loss in Columbus to Big Ten unbeaten Wisconsin. Tough one for the Buckeyes, and I think that's their third conference loss where the Badgers are still unbeaten in the league. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are in Paris today, taking on the Brooklyn Nets, and that's a 2 p.m. game our time. So they're in the evening over there. I'm assuming it's just a one and done. This is kind of what the NFL has been doing, traveling to Europe and playing. But today it's the Cleveland Cavaliers and Brooklyn Nets in Paris, France.
All these leagues are trying to show their worldwide appeal. And next thing you know, we'll have a team from maybe Mexico or something like that.
Yeah. I guess when they can finally, of course they had the Concorde and that was causing too much pollution. When they come up with this hypersonic jet, that's where you'll probably see more international play. Yeah. Of course, you got it now with Canada, but not in Europe and so forth. So that's a look at sports for today.
All right. Coming up, a look at this date in history, and we're going back to when?
1964. Smoke, 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 or don't smoke that cigarette.
Gotcha.
Remember that old commercial or song?
This is where I discovered there was a Surgeon General.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in just a moment, right after these words. Visit ChillicotheOhio.com for the Ross Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
This date in history, 1964.
I would have been 4.5. I didn't turn 5 till November of 64. But I think I can remember this in the news.
I would have been a year and a half.
Yeah. It was on this date in 1964 that the United States Surgeon General, Luther Terry, attaboy, Luther, knew his report was a bombshell. He intentionally chose to release it on January 11th because it was a Saturday, so as to limit the immediate effects that his announcement would have on the stock market. Government doesn't tinker with things like this, right?
No, not at all.
And it was on this date that on behalf of the U.S. government, Surgeon General Terry announced a definitive link between smoking and lung cancer. And that's when you started seeing the warnings on the cigarette packs after this announcement on this date in 1964.
But it didn't come out in 64, did it? The Surgeon General...
I think that might have been a year later.
Was it like the late 60s, I thought?
Well, actually, it was 65. But the announcement came out on this date. I mean, they knew for years, they were pretty certain that there was harmful effects of smoking. But but it was for a number of years, we experienced that in radio, television, where you could not run cigarette commercials. But then in some of our, I don't know, maybe the last decade or so of our radio broadcasting, they started doing these tobacco shops where that was legal.
Yeah.
Which never quite made sense to me, but again, we were dealing with the government, so.
Yeah. I recall as a young boy, and this is when Mom and Dad decided to get into camping, which literally changed our lives at the Ramey Ranch, because we went from having zero outdoor activities to now every weekend we're going in a camper somewhere. And if we weren't going somewhere in a camper, my aunts and uncles had all their campers at our house. And Dad went as far as to dig a water line, sewer line, and electrical, and ran it all to the back, and had lots for all of those campers. So I think we had maybe 6 or 7 campers back there.
Wow.
Not knowing that probably in the long run, Dad had a bigger plan, and that was to start his RV repair place. And so when everyone decided to get rid of their campers, or at least take them and store them at their own homes, he had this building he decided to put in, and he already had the water, electric, and the sewer hookup was all there. So here's what I'm getting ready to say. We started going around in these small campers, and I think the first one we had was a truck camper. We went all the way over to Colorado, did the Rocky Mountains and everything, rode in a pickup truck, and slept in that truck camper. After that, Mom and Dad bought a trailer. So now we've got a 15-foot trailer. Then we went 19. Then we went 30. And then Dad goes and gets a mini coach, and that kind of thing. So all the progressions. All during that time, he's smoking Camels like crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point in time being a young person starting to voice my opinion. And I remember saying, Dad, put that cigarette out, would you? And he says, leave me alone, boy. And I said, okay, great. But what if I have cancer from secondhand smoke? How are you going to feel then? Dad didn't have an answer for that other than put it in the ashtray.
Put it in the ashtray, yeah.
And he stopped, but didn't stop cold turkey.
Right.
That would have been nice. But and in our radio careers, we've worked in smoking environments. And then we got to the situation where no more smoking in the building, so you had to do that outdoors. But, man, I'm telling you, if you're not a smoker, that stuff gets right on a microphone, and you may as well be kissing whoever it was that was on that microphone before.
Yeah.
Because you're tasting that and everything. Oh.
If I got around someone that smoked, it just like it would take my breath away because I wasn't used to doing that. So,
your lungs don't feel like they can have their full expansion.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But for all of you out there who did smoke for a number of years and put it aside, and we could probably run off a list of people that we know that conquered it, good for you.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes. And others who are still struggling with it.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in less than a half hour.
In about 22 minutes.
Yeah, in about 22 minutes, we will have our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show featuring the Waverly Tigers hosting the South Webster Jeeps. So that's coming up. Plus, we'll give a breakdown of all of our area teams involved in the new RPI rankings, which were released yesterday. We're not going to go through this every week.
Right.
But we wanted to go through it this week and give you an idea of what it all looks like. So if you want to find out where your school is, we'll show you here in just a bit. So stick close for that. That's it for the program today. For the toothless one, Mike Smith. Okay, only lost one tooth, but it was a big tooth, and he was out for a day. We've got all that for you coming up again on another edition of Litter Media Live tomorrow. Until then, thank you for watching.